Chief Justice Bryan Sykes today fired back at critics of a court ruling which saw an alleged gangster receiving a minimum sentence for a gun-related charge. The judgment was handed down in the St. Anne Parish Court on Tuesday. Addressing a contract signing ceremony for the St. Anne Family Court today, the Chief Justice defended the ruling. Anthony Lugg has the details.
The recent sentencing handed down by a parish court judge in St. Anne on Tuesday has not gone down well with some members of the police force. Jamar Bartley, otherwise called Tatty, a man police sources say is behind several criminal activities in the parish, was sentenced to 9 months in prison for illegal possession of firearm and ammunition. However, he will only spend 1 month as the judge considered the time he'd already spent behind bars after his arrest last year. The police alleged that Bartley, a member of the Hollywood gang operating in Steertown, St. Anne, has eluded several joint police-military operations. Chief Justice Bryan Sykes has fired back, arguing that an individual should be charged under the relevant legislation if there's sufficient evidence to prove that the person is involved in a gang.
There is no offense known as alleged gangster. There is a statute called the Criminal Justice Suppression of Criminal Organizations Act, and if the police are of the view that they have sufficient evidence to convince a court to the requisite standard that this person is indeed a member of a criminal organization, then that is a charge that ought to have been laid, and then the person would have been tried or placed before a judge of the Supreme Court.
Bartley pleaded guilty to the offense on February 2, which is why there was an expectation he would have felt the full brunt of the law. The Chief Justice's response:
the judge at the parish court can't take account of allegations that are unsubstantiated. The judge has to focus on the offense for which the person has been convicted. That is what the judge has to focus on. And in any event, with parish court judges, there is a limit to the sentence that they can give.
The Firearms Act prescribes a sentence of up to 5 years for illegal possession of a firearm in cases brought before a parish court. Justice Sykes also explained that the parish court judge could not have taken into account allegations, but instead had to focus on the offense for which Bartley has been convicted.
Interestingly, the report does not indicate any long list of previous convictions of any kind. So it would appear even on this report that this is a gentleman who may very well have been, as far as the court is concerned, a first offender, no previous conviction, and he is in a court that has a limit placed upon its sentencing. And the gentleman apparently was in custody for some 8 months. So all of these are factors that the judge will have to take into account and whatever other information was there. So I have no problem with criticism of judges, but we must have all the information before we criticize.
Anthony Lugg, TVJ News.